She had thick, wavy red hair. And she sat in my audience for a 2-hour lecture with a stone-cold scowl the entire time. Doesn't really make you feel comfortable standing in front of somebody that way. After the lecture was over, I met up with my friend Jason, a warm, kind, jovial man whose facial expressions were engaging and kind. And I told him about the horrible experience of that woman staring at me the whole time. He said, it's okay. You never know about people. A couple months later, I had a serious, almost nervous breakdown with shifting in my business and where I was going, and I was closing one down and starting a new one. And Jason, again, with those kind eyes, said, Renee, it's okay. If you need help, I'll be here for you. Unconditional support. I also happen to be really lucky that the guy's a multimillionaire and was like, yeah, and if you need some money, I've got $30,000. I'll grant it to your business. Yeah, I'm feeling good, confident. Life was good. I took the leap. I shifted my business. Started a new one. Another year, another 2 years goes by, and I think about the contrast of Elizabeth, whose scowling face, and how different that was to Jason, his kind face. And that day, I had the contrast of a scowling face and a kind face. One who gave me no indication that she'd be there for me, and one who gave me every indication that he would. 2 years later, when it comes time and I need the $30,000, Jason is nowhere to be found. Won't return my calls, won't go to lunch, and the money has ghosted. In contrast, Elizabeth, the scowling face, stepped up to the plate and has given me over $30,000 in business. Life is really weird, and there's a lot of contrast in it. And I've been thinking recently about the contrast between driven behavior and inspired action. When I think about driven behavior, I go back to physical therapy school. My roommate and I, Serena, would wake up to the alarm clock at 5 a.m., put on our clothes, trudge to the gym. We'd quiz each other the whole way walking there. What's the origin of the sternocleidomastoid? What's the innervation of rectus femoris? What's the action of biceps femoris? Get on our bikes, get back home, take a shower, make coffee, pack up breakfast, go to school, be there for 8 hours. Lecture, lab, intense. Go home, eat a half an hour dinner while watching Friends, and then study until 12. Barely sleep a little bit, drag myself out of bed, and do it again. Driven behavior gets you places. You work hard, you have grit, you have determination, you have drive, and it gets stuff done. It works like a champion. Until it catches up to you physiologically. Because when we are in sustained arousal, fight or flight all the time, and we never move into rest and digest, it is a recipe for burnout, exhaustion, high blood pressure, and other disasters in your health, physical and mental. Driven behavior, it works, but at what cost? When I contrast driven behavior to inspired action, it elicits a very different experience as as I feel into my own physiology. Inspired action has novelty to it. What's that? Inspired action invites a balance of drive and go with rest and play. Inspired action means you take your foot off the gas and you do the uncomfortable thing if you're a driven workaholic, and you rest and you restore and you allow your physiology to enter into a state of being. And in that being, it can be scary because you might face the thing you've been running from. But after you get past that fear, it opens up this invitation for novelty to emerge and experiences of joy and play and fun and creativity. And it's an interesting contrast to think about joy and play and creativity and fun and how they can be energizers for us, and they can ignite and fuel a new kind of action, a new kind of gas to drive and propel you forward. The contrast of inspired action versus driven behavior. It's unfamiliar and it's a paradox. And I'm still in discovery of what inspired action looks like after trying to recover from the addiction of driven behavior for 20 years. But in the end, just like the face of Jim and the face of Elizabeth, Jason, I'm calling them different names. Good thing I'm anonymous with them, right? You never know who and what is going to be the right thing for you in the end. And the way I reconcile the delta is to constantly return back to a felt sense of my own self, of my essence, my presence, the timeless part of your being. And that can be a wonderful source of stability in the midst of all the contrast.